Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Lasswell, and I am here with the review of The Biggest Loser, episode 5, season 14. So let's get it in. So the show opens up with a challenge based on budgeting and eating healthy. The players are going on a 15-minute shopping spree where they only get to spend $10 per team member on their food for the week. Knowing that unhealthy food is a lot cheaper than buying healthy food, knowing that this is going to be a very difficult challenge for them. So the blue team starts out with $350. The red team has $280, and the white team, which consists of only Danni, she only has $70 to spend. So the red team is feeling very confident because they have Lisa on their team, and Lisa has a family of 6 that she feeds, I guess, on a regular basis. So they feel as though, well, if she can feed 6 people, then she should have no problem helping us, buy groceries for 4 people. While Danni is concerned that $70 is not going to be enough for her for the week. $70, she says she spends over $100 for herself on a regular basis. So she doesn't think that $70 would be enough for her. Personally, I'm impressed, because the players are making conscious efforts to choose lean meats and vegetables. They're making really good choices when it comes to doing their grocery shopping. They're looking at nutritional value as well as weighing their options with different brands to see if they can get more for their money. The key to this challenge was to stay on the outside aisles and not go on the inside aisles of the grocery store, because the inside aisles at the grocery store usually contain mostly processed foods, and most of the fresh foods are actually on the outside of the aisle. At the end of the challenge, the red team had a total of $276.67. The blue team totaled $348. Danni, the last member of the white team, she had a total of around $61. She still had like about $9 more to spend. So everybody's back at the ranch now, and Danni is feeling really good about her food choices, as well as the fact that she doesn't have to cook for anyone else but herself, since she's the last member of the team that's left. But the most ridiculous thing that I saw was the bargaining. Like, people had bought their groceries, and then all of a sudden people were like, okay, well, I'll give you 2 mushrooms for a lemon, or I'll trade you this, or would you like some fish and I can trade you that. My thing is this: if you wanted those things, you should have just bought those things. You weren't thinking, and then, you're assuming that people are necessarily going to want to trade with you later, and it might not work that way in the end. Now folks are nervous about their food for the week. So during all this hubbub, Jeff is peeping out Gina and David, and he sees that they're whispering about something. And the thing is that Gina and David are a little nervous because they, Gina's the oldest person, and I think, and David, well, we all know about David. Yeah, David is just not doing anything. David is not doing anything. Like, David needs an alliance. He needs an alliance bad. He needs someone to lean on. And me personally, I wouldn't have chose Gina, but I guess he figured, okay, well, you're pretty much in the bottom and I'm pretty much on the bottom. Let's work together. But Jeff is like, well, he's looking at them like, yeah, something shady going on over there. And he really doesn't trust Gina. David says basically he needs someone to lean on and that he feels pretty much alone. So let me get this straight. You're unable to work out. You haven't really been participating. Well, you're unable to work out as well as everybody else. You haven't really been participating in any physical challenges. On crutches. I mean, you're never medically cleared pretty much to do anything. So, yeah, David. Okay, so we cut to Adobe in the red team, who have won 3 out of the last 4 weigh-ins, and they really think that there's a target on their back right now. So basically, David is pretty much he's not really in rare form. He's doing the same thing that he would always do, which is continuously push them, act like nothing is different, nothing has changed. So that's what he's going to keep on doing. Bob thinks his blue team is being set up to lose this week, and he's really keeping a close eye on Jillian, because he's like, okay, well, Jillian, she only has one team member left, but it doesn't mean anything to him, because that means that Jillian, she's not out of it, regardless what people may think. She's not out of it, and she's going to bring it like nobody has ever brought it before. And then he tells his team, look, you haven't had to vote anybody off, and you haven't had to eliminate anybody from this team. So, but don't get tired and don't get lazy. You still have to pick up the work and, get it together. Next, we see Alex, and Alex is really getting a lot frustrated right now. We don't see her as much, but now they started bringing her into the show a little bit more. And I think we didn't see her much because it just seemed like, her numbers were so low that it just wasn't really exciting to watch her. But now they bringing her into the show, and she basically is frustrated because her numbers are so low. She's like, well, I'm doing so much. I'm doing everything. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And nothing is happening. Basically frustrated that her best is not good enough. And then they cut to her because she's talking about that she feels as though that she can't find love, and basically that if she doesn't love herself, how in the world is she going to love anyone else? So basically, she walks out of the gym. It seemed like she said she was like giving up hope, and she walks out of the gym. But Bob is not having that one. So right before this, they cut the commercial. But then when they come back, guess who I see? I see Nikki. Y'all remember Nikki, right? Nikki was the girl with the eating disorder and all kinds of messiness going on with her. And she just decided to bow out and leave and say, forget it. That could have been somebody else's spot. That's just how I feel. But they showed her, and she came back, and she looked great. She lost 50 pounds. And, I mean, she did. She looked amazing, and she was giving up all kinds of sexy in the little photo shoot that they was doing on the show. So, hooray for Nikki. I'm glad she's doing well, but truthfully, yes, somebody could have been in that spot on that show and still been on there right now. I'm just saying. And they showed TC, and I so miss TC so much. I really did not wish he went home. TC went home the first week. He was eliminated the very first week. And y'all remember TC. TC was the guy that he was so heavy, and he wanted to lose his weight so bad. He was heavy. He was so heavy that he sat in his car seat. He was in his car, and there was a bad traffic accident, and his seat broke. And when the seat broke, his seat hit his son and did something to damage his eye and fractured his skull. So that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, whereas though he really said that he wanted to lose the weight. I saw him. He was working out, and I really did, I was very, very inspired by his story, and I was very, very sad to see him go the very first week. And you see TC, and he is looking good. He looking mighty dapper in his suit during his little photo shoot that they showed. It was only a little section. Said he had lost 80 pounds. He looked really, really good. So congratulations, TC. So then they cut back to Bob talking to Alex, and Alex is frustrated, and she's crying. And so Bob is like, well, look, you're just going to have to get it together, honey, because you cannot lose this. Bob is like really definitely trying to make sure that the blue team does not lose. So he's just telling Alex, he's like, honey, you got to make sure that you win this, and you got to keep doing this. And she's like, well, I'm doing everything that I could possibly do. And he's like, well, try something different. And I agree with that. If what you are doing does not work, and if you're just doing the same old, and it's not working, try something different. So Jillian is talking about Danni being her last team member, and the fact that if Danni goes home, so does Jillian. They both go home together. That'll be the end of the white team. This is week 5, and she's talking about she's lost everyone. Danni is all she has left, and she cannot be hard with Danni. Like, she can't be rough with Danni, because Danni is that type of person where, as though if Jillian goes extremely hard on her, Danni will fall apart. So what Jillian had to do was bring her softer side, you know. So then they cut back to Bob, and he's continuously pushing the blue team. I mean, he's been pushing this blue team like so much. Like, but the thing about it is they're not pulling it together. So the less that they're doing, the more that Bob is pushing. So next we see the kids, but this time they didn't go see the kids. The kids came through via TV, monitor, whatever you want to call it. So the trainers went into a room, and there the kids were on the television. So we learned that Sunny, her goals are that she wants to really get into that perfect prom dress. We learned that Lindsay is in gymnastics now. She's participating in that, so she can definitely try out and make that cheerleading team. We find out that Bingo is struggling because he has that boot thing on his foot, and that boot is like really inhibiting him from, you know, working out. So Bob tells Bingo to go outside and play baseball with this boot thing on his leg. And I thought it was like kind of crazy when he said that, but then I watched it and I said, "Oh my God, he's out there actually running, playing baseball with this boot. You know, this boot from when he fractured his foot." I was like, well, hell, if he can go out there and it doesn't bother him and it doesn't hurt him, then hey, he should go for it. So Bob says basically just because he has a boot on his foot doesn't mean that he can't practice safely. So then, even though that they're on monitor, the trainers decide to do a workout session right then and there, you know, via TV and all of that. And it really does help motivate the kids a lot more. So then they do another cut and they go back to Devin Alexander, which is the Biggest Loser chef. And she basically shows them how to incorporate good foods for a little bit amount of money, how to incorporate different combinations of different foods that they wouldn't normally put together, but ended up making really good food creations. I was very, very impressed by it. So now it's challenge time. But before the challenge, you see Jeff rolling his eyes at Gina. So, you know, Allison is like, what's going on? What's up with the food and all that? And Gina is like, oh, well, I didn't have as much as I thought I was going to have. Or I wanted this. And it was just messy. Basically, Jeff is saying that Gina is complaining all the time. And the reason why she didn't speak up before is because she wanted to basically pull that mess in front of Allison, playing the victim. I mean, Jeff is definitely not feeling Gina. He just thinks Gina is like the devil or something. He's really not feeling her. So Gina, she's sitting there and she's complaining about not having enough to eat. And I'm sitting there like, get over it, Gina. The challenge is over. That challenge was like, I don't know how many days, like a couple days before or whatever. But the grocery challenge is over. The food is in the house. And whatever you don't have to eat, you just don't have it to eat, honey. That's it. Okay, so on to the challenge. So now they have a challenge, and then the winner of the challenge gets 10 one-year memberships to Planet Fitness to give to like their family and friends. There's also another prize, and that is a choice between having a 2-pound advantage on the scale or to be able to call home. So basically there are 3 fountains. There's a red one, there's a white one, there's a blue fountain. And then they're in the water. That, you know, they have to go into the water and they have to get these coins. Now the coins, at first they don't tell them that the coins weigh 5 pounds each. And each team member has to take these coins and put these coins in the fountain. Each team member has to put up 10 coins. But the thing about it is Danni is by herself. So all she has to put up is 10 coins. That's it. And then once she fills that up, that's it. But for everyone else, there's I think the red team and the blue team, they both have to put up 40 coins for their entire team. But as you know, David, he has not been cleared to participate. Okay, so by far in the challenge, Danni was swimming. Danni is by far the best swimmer, in the game. She's a powerhouse. But Joe was keeping up with her for a while. We see that Alex and water do not make a good combination. Homegirl was getting tired. She was hanging on to the fountain for dear life. She was taking breaks and break after break, and she wasn't even getting it together. And who of all people was to come tell come tell Alex, come on. Michael was actually moving in that water. And the thing about it is that I noticed, and so many people have told me this, is that water helps you move. It helps heavier people move. It's easier for our joints and stuff to move in water because it's less gravity. But Michael, which he's not getting it in. In this challenge, he was actually getting it in, and he was telling Alex, you need to come on and get your butt in gear and speed it up. Gina pretty much said, fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore. We've already lost. I don't feel like doing it anymore, so I'm not doing it anymore. That's how Gina was looking at it. So, but in the end, it came down to Danni and Lisa, and they were pretty much neck and neck, but Danni definitely turned it on, and she won this challenge. Now, Danni decided to take the 2-pound advantage, and I personally would agree with her simply because my family will see me. You know what I'm saying? My family will see me. I could be on the ranch and I could miss my family, but they understand that I'm in here, I'm in this game to win it, and I have to do what I need to do to win the game. I could always call them and always see them later. But that 2-pound advantage is what I would definitely need to, put me further in the game. So you guys know that David wasn't able to compete in the challenge, and he hasn't been able to compete in many of the challenges. So Bob and David, they went to go talk to a doctor, and they went to take a look at David's MRI for his knee and found out, well, the first thing they found out was that it was a lot of fat around his knee. They could see, you could see like the fat surrounding his knee. And that wasn't even the biggest concern. The biggest concern was that there was small cracks. They said in the soft tissue, the soft bone in David's knee, there was small cracks. Next, David reveals that he had a previous knee injury before the show. So my thing is, okay, so Bob is saying, okay, well, you should have told me about this. My thing is, The Biggest Loser, the show should have known about this. And if they did know about this, why was he still able to compete? If you know you have an injury like that and it's going to inhibit you from participating in these physical challenges, and it's going to put you, the team at a disadvantage, why would you even apply for The Biggest Loser? And I understand that people want to lose weight, and I understand that they want to get on this show. But if you are not in at least, a condition where as though that you can move around, he had a major knee injury, and for the past few weeks he has been on crutches, and he hasn't been able to really work out, and he's been they've kept him on the stationary bikes, and he's been just not doing anything. So if you knew this, why would you even try out for the show in the beginning? David said he didn't want it to be, he didn't want to make excuses, and he didn't want to discuss his feelings and things like that. And I understand, because he's going through a situation where he has a daughter. He has 7 children, and he has a daughter that has Rett syndrome. He should not have kept that information from Bob. Bob needed to know that information about him and his knee. That way they would have been able to probably help him a little bit more. Now we're at the last chance workout, and everybody, like I said before, everybody is getting it in, except the blue team. But David's team is definitely working it out. Jillian and Danni are doing what they can only do, which is work out. If they don't get it, they're going home. That's just it. The blue team not feeling confident. Bob kind of knew it, but he's still not going to give up on his team. They cut back to David, and even David is saying, if it was me and I looked at myself, I looked at me, I would think, okay, well, David is the old guy. He's the crippled guy. He's the one that weighs the less right now. I pretty much vote him off myself. If you're thinking that about yourself, David, what do you think everybody else is thinking? Truthfully, it really makes you look bad when you can't do anything and everybody else is really on that show busting their ass. So then everybody is working out like crazy, and then all of a sudden, Michael blows chunks. Like, seriously, it's like everywhere. I'm like, all of a sudden, they just randomly flash somebody throwing up. Just boom, out of the way. I mean, okay, like, do we really need to see that? I'm sure that it happens, but do we really need to see it? David is talking to his team again, and you know how he does. He's like, oh, this is a phenomenal job, and I'm so proud of you guys. I couldn't be more happier. You guys really did push yourself. Why does he make weight loss sound so sexy? So it's weigh-in time, and Alex finally hit her double digits. The girl had never got any double digits. She was getting all these low numbers, and she finally got her double digits. And she was the biggest loser for the week. I just wanted to start out with that because the girl has been suffering for the past few weeks. And finally, yeah, it was a quite emotional moment. She was crying and all that. But she finally got herself some double digits. So hooray for Alex. Joe made it out of the 300s. I think he was like 299 or something. Danni did not even need that 2-pound advantage. She and Jillian are safe again for another week. All in all, the red team loses the weigh-in. They end up voting Lisa off the show. When Lisa started the show, she was 246 pounds. She's now 170 pounds. She has lost 76 pounds, and she works in special education. So she applies what she learned from The Biggest Loser to her kids or the people that she teaches in her classrooms. She's more active in her life now, and she has become an outstanding role model for her kids. So congratulations, Lisa. So guys, that's it. That is my review for The Biggest Loser season 14, episode 5. So like before, I'm going to post all the information about the weigh-ins below in the description box so you guys can check it out. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.